This is behind the scenes, and sometimes we don't see the real deal in a front way about what they are trying to accomplish and do, because we only see the exterior. But this one is going to be for, what's your name? I know it's Adel.
Adel Belgaied.
I need to hear from you.
Adel Belgaied.
Adel, as you know, you've been running this for almost 8 days now. This is the 9th day, I think, right? This is the 9th. And you've been doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I don't want to say it to your face, but I have to, because in today's era, we have to say it.
Yeah.
Especially in this country, sometimes you have to. But I want to know, like, for the future, for people that are watching, where does the incentive come from? We'll talk about the other stuff.
Yeah.
But where's your incentive? Where's your heart? How does your heart open up one morning and say, you know what? I'm tired of this. I want to do something about it.
Yeah.
How did it come about?
It came about when things didn't make sense. It wasn't that we're against Vice President like Joe Biden or anything like that. It's not that we're standing against anybody. This isn't about sides. It's the numbers didn't make sense. And the things that the president had said ahead of time about trying to steal the race and watching the votes come in at 4 a.m., everything that he said happened. And there comes a point where you're like, okay, whoa, especially here in Arizona, a 600,000 voter switch over to Democrats, never gone Democrat. And on top of that, we've had 8-9 days they were still counting votes. We've never had that issue. So it just shows you some unorganization and execution. And we want to make sure that everything's acting efficient. As we've been down here, look, at the end of the day, we're standing for a fair and righteous America. We're looking for a fair and honest election. If we can prove it's a fair and honest election, we're good to go. It's just like a car. You build the car, it's a beautiful car, but they got to test it before you let it go. So we're saying test the system. And you know what? We have no problem with anybody testing the Trump won states, as they should we should test every state. Let's make sure the audits are correct, everything's on point, and if Vice President Joe Biden wins at that point, God bless. If not,
if you're sitting in a classroom, I hope that's what you're gonna do one day. If you're gonna teach someone, like if you're running for office or something, and you wanna, this is what I see you, by the way, in a couple of years, so it's on the record. So
2032.
Technically, the way I'm speaking to you, I'm very proud of you, because I watched you every single day, but we didn't talk much because you were busy orchestrating and all that. If you're in front of your student, listen, I'm talking about you, a politician, you come into the class and you want to teach law or teach somebody the process.
Yeah.
What you went through right now with all this ups and downs and questionable, like the sign is right next to me, says, you see, no 2 voters fraud. Yeah. So what kind of message if a student comes up and say this to you, or somebody in a law school and says to you, Senator, what prevents you from not being a fraud? You know what I mean? Like, that's a heavy question, man.
The system.
The system,
of course. The system, the Constitution, the system that's put in place. Okay. And it's the only thing I would teach somebody is no matter what your views are, as long as it's within the Constitution and the system that's been created, that's what matters. So it doesn't matter us having opposing views, as long as you're abiding within the Constitution, and to say somebody's a fraud or not, that's why we have audits, we have checks, we have a system built for that. And if it proves it, if it withholds it, you build the building and it withholds the earthquake test, the building's good to go. Well, here's where we're at. We had some discrepancies and some irregularities in the election, and we're testing it. We want to know, we want to get answers, and that's what you have to demand answers, because you cannot go forward in life carrying doubt or anger towards something that's happened. So if we didn't demand answers now, people will move forward with anger, and anger towards the other side, which they shouldn't have, because you're allowed to have different views. But that builds into resentment. Resentment builds into hate, builds into anger, builds into violence eventually for some people. And we don't want that. So you have to speak out now. We have to handle it in the judicial system in the right way. And if we can prove it, we go with that. So to anybody that ever thinks anybody's a fraud, test it. Let's test it.
So since your background in tech, what would you do different?
Oh, it's very simple. This is the simplest.
We spoke with a lot of, we don't want to mention names, as you know, we spoke with a lot of contributors, and they came forward and told us a little detail. Yeah. But you don't have to speculate or give names. But can you tell us, what would you do as a high-tech person to change to make it work better? How's that? Without alleging anything.
Of course. This system is very simply put. When we look at it as that everybody has a fair and equal right? Number one is your license and voter ID has to be presented at that point. When it's presented, you're checked into a system. The system checks in and validates you with your picture on the screen. Thus relating to you has to be similar, maybe even to the point where you have to have your updated address on the license and everything has to equal out. Because if you want to vote, you have to take the responsibility and update these sort of things. So we go to that point, you're then given a ballot. You go vote, you submit it, and when you submit it, you then go into your voter ID on the back end, you register your login, and you put in your voter ID number and that special code that's given to you when you vote, and you put that in, and it'll show you that your vote was accepted and show you who you voted for. Bada bing, bada boom. As simple as that. And so everybody that's tallied through the system, we're good to go. Now, for people that say about COVID and everything going on, as long as we plan the system ahead of time, there's no reason we can't do a social distance, 6 feet, masks, and do it one by one in appointments if we do ahead of time. So going forward, there's no reason we shouldn't have a set system. This system does not take long to build. With Google, Microsoft, and Facebook, you're talking about we can send a molecule to space via teleportation. Okay, we can create a back-end system that's very simple like this. This is not even difficult technology. So anybody that tells you otherwise is lying to you. This is not difficult at all. So we need to move down that route to where it's updated, everything's said and done. For instance, when I put my ballot in, it kicked it back out. At that point, they're saying it's supposed to be hand counted. Right. And the issue is 4 days later, it finally said accepted. Well, if it's ran through a machine that's updated automatically and tabulating, why isn't it saying accepted on the back end right away? That's not hard. That's not hard in technology to do, guys. That's like, for example, you touching your iPhone screen and then an app opening. It's a reaction causing action, and that's all that needs to happen. So there's nothing difficult that we're missing here. So to me, I see an issue when I put a vote in and it takes 4 days later to say accepted. That's wrong. Because if I go buy something from the gas station right now, 7-Eleven, national headquarters of 7-Eleven is going to register that right away. It's not going to be 4 days later that they're going to see I bought a brownie. So,
you know, I need to commend you, because we're doing right now, it's a film documentary. People are not going to see it right now, right away. Obviously, they're going to see probably after the events, like you and I working on this.
Yeah.
And of course, in 2 years, it's going to mean something.
Yeah.
So right now, we're not going to fix the pothole in front of us because we're talking right now. We're going to do a film documentary. We're going to do it later.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, like, you know, and I have to tell you for the record too, so I don't change it later, right? You kept people calm, collected. You did a lot of prayers. You spoke eloquently. You didn't harm no one. You encouraged peace and peaceful approach. And that did not resonate with the media.
Yeah, no, of course.
Now, in your opinion now, I'm being honest with you. I know it resonated with me.
Yeah.
But I'm a small guy, small time. But you know what I mean? But there's a lot of important people that do watch my show.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to them, like, in regarding to this? Like, this, are they missing out on an opportunity?
Look,
with the new generation? Because you're the new generation.
Yeah. I think we've taken for granted America and our opportunity here. There's nothing to do with red or white, abortion, life, this, that, nothing to do with that. We've taken for granted America. The reason I say that is because everybody should fight for a fair and just system and to make sure that everything's done justly in the correct way. That's it. And if we can hold that line to make sure we're there, we will hold this country, no matter whether we think we need to execute this bill or do this or that. But as long as we can keep the integrity in America, we're going to move forward as a country. So for the media that wants to change the narrative and what we're doing and how we're doing it, you know, all I got to say is I'm doing what God's asked me to do, and that's to speak the truth and the word and stand up for what I believe is right. And I'm doing that. I'm happy to accept if there's proven evidence of something that I'm wrong on. I'm happy to say I'm wrong, but I will fight for the truth and the righteousness of this country, and to fight to keep the evil out. And you know, it's frustrating to me as a citizen here to see sex trafficking at such a high that's only continuing to grow, and illegal drug use, and people dying, and suicide rates increasing. And we're sitting here saying, oh well, you know, we're moving forward to this and that, and we're going to allow this to happen. And nobody's taking a step, and nobody's holding the line. Nobody's standing up for this Constitution. Nobody's standing up for what's America. And that's really to be there to protect thy neighbors, to unite together, to live in a fair and honest society where your freedoms are protected. And so we need to get back to that. We need to get back to where we are. We need to get back to what's meaningful, and that's protecting our citizens and our people, not dividing. And the they're driving that divide right now, and it's unfortunate to see, because as I stand here today and as everybody stands behind me, we're here for love. We're here for the goodness of everybody. I'm not standing here today saying you need to be pro-life or pro-choice. That's not why I stand here right now. I'm here because I need to make sure that the system is done the correct way, and if it's done the correct way, we will accept whatever answer happens at that.
So, as you know now, and you know, we'll have to be honest, you're getting famous. People get into the recognize, they all asking me, they call me, who's this guy? And that also has a pros and cons. So in 2 years, we're going to have another. By the time people watch this, it's going to be unfolded, like we said earlier. but in 2 years we're gonna have another election. How do you educate your generation? You see, this is where it's catch-22. The old people already voted, as you know, and the young people got rejected a lot. From watching on the news, and I've noticed the people that got rejected a lot were there because they didn't know the process. They were scratching, they were doing outside, they were doing double. Some people doing double whammy because I'm getting it from the inside. This is inside information. So how do you prevent that? Like, what kind of, I don't know what kind of class you want to give, like, to the world.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a show, like, to speak to the people how to vote? Like, since you're very committed, I'm saying this to you.
Yeah, well, you know, for me, tech-wise, as we grow as a tech company and get to the place we need to go, I'd love to work with the government and create a fair and honest system. I'd love to be able to step up with the government and create a fair and honest system to protect our citizens. That's even done through social media, education classes, video seminars, teaching people how to vote, when to vote, where to vote. It's something that's given to everybody. So not that it's said at the end of the day, oh, these are the only people that saw it, this demographic saw this. No, we need to speak to everybody in the same manner. We need to treat everybody the same. We're looking for equality. We need to act with equality. And that's how we need to move forward. So for me, I see myself getting involved. If the government's interested in building a fair and honest system, I'm happy to lend my hand to that and move forward with that. And also as we push this narrative, and a lot's going to be answered here.
Yeah.
As we get answers here in the next few days, few weeks, few months, it's going to tell us a lot of what's happened, and we'll then be able to assess what we need to do to go forward. And hey, if they can prove it's a fair and honest election, we accept it, we move forward, there's nothing left to do. But if we find any faults, which we already have, we need to start looking at solutions after this.
Because like we said earlier, I don't want to keep repeating it, because I wish I could air this right now. Actually, what I just heard from you today, it needed to be told today.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is just between you and I.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to wait until a while from that to make a film document. So it's your call on this, because what you just said, what you provided me with, I think we need to air it right away, because at the end of the day, the next question I'm going to have to ask you if we're going to air it will be this. What makes Adel tick? What makes you tick?
What makes me frustrated?
Frustrated.
Dishonesty.
Yeah, I want to hear about this, please, because I want the world to hear from you, because everybody's saying, you saw the news, oh, they violent. That's what made me come here the first night.
Yeah.
They kept saying,
I don't like people that control the narrative for how they want or lie to get the results that they want. I don't believe in the cheating and the stealing to do it. I think you work hard, you set the right message, you do what you got to do, and the outcome's going to be the outcome. That's what you can control. So when people are dishonest, or there's articles written that try to change the narrative or try to make me look like a bad person, I'm not a bad person. I love each and every one of you that ever watches this. I love you. I don't care if you have different views than me. I accept you. I hope you accept me. I wish you the best. I wish you blessings upon this earth, health, wealth, and success and happiness. There's nothing that separates you and I besides maybe a few different beliefs, but at the end of the day, we all want to be loved and an American and together. And so I don't like when that narrative gets driven of trying to be violent or this. We're not violent. Nobody's out here to fight. Nobody's out here to do anything. We just want answers. And as they can fact check on social media, they can fact check our election. That's it.
Well, since we spoke, he and I right now, we were supposed to do this later. Apparently, after his permission, as you saw right now, we're gonna have to air it soon, so it's not gonna be in a couple months. And because I'm excited to what he just delivered, because a lot of people didn't mention what you just said. Yeah. And from being on the media, and I get all these questions, and then they might not be like big numbers, but they've been misled by your presence.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear it to the audience and clear it to everyone in here and abroad, at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what I want you to. Can you hold the camera, please, over here? This is MAAP Real Talk Show, George Nemeh. And I am so impressed with this gentleman, because 5 years, 10 years from whatever the year's going to be, you're looking at a senator, because his heart is for the country. His heart is for the Constitution. His heart is clean. And that's what I see. As an older person that I am, as I look back, I wish somebody would have promoted me, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we need to promote the good people. Please don't make judgment. We don't judge. This person kept the people cool, collected, sweet, nice. And one of the reasons I'm airing it right now is after listening to it, because we were doing a documentary, quote unquote film documentary, but it doesn't need to be, because the people need to hear him. They need to hear about him. And now Saturday it's coming, that big rally that we're going to have at the state capitol, Arizona State Capitol. I got to watch what I'm saying. Hopefully you're going to be there, right?
I'm leading it.
He's leading
it.
United. Well, he's leading, but sometimes, so he's leading it. So I want everybody to know, please come out and just listen to him speak. Don't just give him the chance to speak. I'm talking about to the politicians. I'm talking about to the shakers and makers. Our show is about the shakers and makers. I don't have got your moment. Since I've been here with him, this is my first really one-on-one interview besides the love fest we had at the state capitol. That was a compliment.
Of course.
But the reason why I kept it away, because I don't have to do gotcha moments. And it's not, that's why our show, we're not going to be famous, but we're going to keep constitutional on the ground.
I love that.
And that's what this man is. He's a constitutionalist. From listening to him, he might not even know that's his title in my book, because he's keeping rhythm, he's keeping people at peace, loving, beautiful words. I can't even stop saying it. So please, ladies and gentlemen, and the leaders out there, please pay attention to this gentleman. Don't look at him like a threat. Look at him as a game, because that's what I see. This is MAAP Real Talk Show with you. Again, I want to thank you so much, sir. I really mean it. I'm so honored. This is George Nemeh with
Adel Belgaied.
That's right. And I don't say goodbyes. We'll see you soon.
I'll be back down.